Hey guys, so it's Chandra here again, and today I'm doing a reading for Vanessa, and Vanessa's got a question. She wants to know when her and Joshua will be in a relationship. So I've done similar readings before where I talk about time and how time is equated to the tarot, and specifically to a psychic in general. Oftentimes people ask me questions that revolve around this concept of time. And time is one of those kind of situations where it's about perception. Time itself, they say, is like a man-made or human-made construct. And basically what that means is it just means that it's about uh, finding a way to be able to measure things over distance or over time. In reality, what I'm getting is, when I'm doing a reading and it revolves around time, I'm feeling, intuitively, I get a sense of like how heavy is this energy. So the quality of the heaviness, the heavier something is, usually like the more pronounced it is, it's like having an attachment to something. It's that heavy energy of being very, very attached to it. So it's very close in nature. Something that is less heavy in terms of energy or the perception of energy is something that is farther away. And that farther away, that space, time continuum that we have, that's what I'm actually picking up on. So to give exact answers in terms of time, no psychic can really 100% do that. Now, we do become calibrated. That being said, we do become calibrated to time in the sense of, well, I've done this for a long time. I've helped enough people and I've done enough readings and I've been able to accurately predict things within a fairly close proximity of time based on the heaviness and what that heaviness associates with in terms of the measurement of time, in terms of hours, months, days, years, you name it. So I like to give this kind of a, I like to at least kind of be honest and share this information with you so that you understand where the time is coming from, like what the idea is. If I say, oh, it's going to be on Monday at 9:56 in the morning, on a Friday, and so on, that's going to be like a little, that's just, that's just me randomly guessing, but that's not what this is at all. So when we're talking about when, the question when, um, we have to just kind of, you know, see where the energy takes us. And that's what I'm going to do with this reading now. So for this kind of reading, because we're dealing with time and the type of question this is, I'm actually going to do a 7-card reading for this. 7-card reading is pretty interesting when it comes to doing like time readings, or you're trying to get more information, because you can use the past, present, and future to help you, but then you can also get energy around the circumstances of where the present moment is in terms of, Vanessa's thinking and Joshua's thinking, and we can also start to look at what the outcome is going to be and see like what that looks like. And a lot of times the cards will give us answers, and I can use my intuition and stuff as well, and come, pretty close to a pretty good answer for you. So let's just do that. So I've been shuffling the cards. I'm now going to cut these cards, and I'm going to stack them. And our first card is going to be the past, and that's this card right here. Haven't even looked at it. This card is the moon. Ah, interesting. So in the past, whenever you see the moon card come up, let me go ahead and show you that again. Whenever you see the moon card come up and all, this is a very hypnotizing card. It's a card that it deals a lot with mystery and the unknown. So in the past, a lot of things were unknown. What you see in this card, you see a dog, you also see a wolf. They come from the same family, but one is wild, one is tame. So it's about looking at things beyond the tameness of energy. So it's not, you can't say something is tame, you can't say something is wild and not have the same kind of, instinct about it. So we all have this instinct within us. So in the past, things were done mostly on instinct. We also have water. Water is about emotion. That's interesting. So for the present, moment. That's where we're at right now. This is the card that we're looking at. Okay. I'll look at that for a moment. So this is the Ten of Wands. You can see that, the Ten of Wands. Now, a lot of times 10 is in the tarot is about completion. It's about things being over. This person here, they're carrying a heavy load, and you know, there's a couple ways that you can sort of read into this. You can say, well, this person, they've been struggling for a long time. They've been working towards something for a long time, and they're getting to the place of just kind of being done and over with it. And so the other way that you can look at this card is you can say that, this person has really put in a lot of effort and energy, and now some rewards are maybe getting ready to pay off. And this person can lighten the load, or they have to look for other ways of getting people to maybe help them. And you're looking for maybe things outside of yourself to kind of help you along the journey or along, getting what you want. So what this card is actually saying in this particular instance is that, maybe what we're looking at here in the present moment, maybe the advice the cards are giving you is that you want to perhaps maybe involve some other people in the whole relationship process. So maybe it's not just about you taking the actions or him taking the actions, but maybe it's about other people, other variables involved in it. Let's go ahead and look at the near future. Now, near future, this is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of picking up about 3 months or so from now, somewhere in that ballpark is about where I can give you about 2 to 3 months out. And this is the card that I have for you. Let's see what that is. So this is the King of Wands, okay? Whenever you see Wands, we just had the Ten of Wands. So now I point this out to you. We now have the One of Wands. The One of Wands is about new beginnings, that kind of thing. The King itself is also someone that's in control, somebody more mature, somebody that is able to take swift action without really having to think too much about it. Kind of like almost like moving on sort of energy. We can just kind of take it or leave it, no big deal. But the king normally gets what the king wants. And so what I would say in this particular instance is that within about 2 to 3 months, your desires will be met because of this King of Wands. It'll put you in the power seat, the driver's seat, so to speak, of the relationship. So now we have the answer card. And I'll look at that for just a moment. Okay. This is cups. Cups are all about relationships. We also have water. We have the walking away of things. We have the sun and the moon in there. That's the duality of night and day. That's shining light on things and also the mystery of things. We'll talk a little bit more about the answer card in a moment. I don't like to get too heavily vested in talking about that card right off the bat until we actually see what the outcome is for this, because then it's just sort of wasting our time with it. The next card is the energy card. This is really going to be the energy around the current situation. Now, if you remember, I was telling you the current situation is this card right here. This is the Ten of Wands. This is the carrying of the heavy burden. Wands are about action, okay? So this is a lot of action. This is about anytime you see wands, you think of actually doing things, it's like taking action or making some kind of initiative on that type of thing. We have the king right here. So the king actually ends up, hard work pays off 3 months out. King is seeing some rewards, you notice that the king is sitting down kind of relaxed in the power seat, and there's just one wand in the hand. So a lot of that burden has been done away with. And so let's move forward. So the energy card, what is kind of going on right now with you? This is the Queen of Cups. Okay, so we had the King of Wands. This is the Queen of Cups. Now, again, I said just a moment ago, and this is a really good reading for you. The Queen of Cups is actually about relationships. Now, this person, the Queen of Cups and all, she's in control of relationships. She's intuitive about relationships. She's also really good when it comes to being intuitive about relationships. She knows in her mind what is happening, what isn't happening. She's able to differentiate the truth from fiction, or fantasy from fiction, that kind of thing. And that's what you're able to do right there. That's what's going on with you. So this card is telling you right now to trust your intuition, trust your instincts, and That's basically what it's doing. Now, the next card that I'm going to pull is sort of like, I don't know how to really phrase this in the best way possible, but this is really looking at sort of the attitude or maybe your hopes or your fears even. It could even be your fears around the circumstances like with this relationship. This is a very telling card, and it does relate us back to this present situation of carrying this load or carrying this weight on you, and that card is this card. And the card that we have is the Hierophant. Okay. All right. So the Hierophant is about tradition. Whenever you see the Hierophant in a spread, you're really the Hierophant details a lot of. It's about traditions. It's about religion. It's about culture. I want you to think of it sort of like, um, you know, the things that we adopt as we move on in our life. If you come from a Catholic background, for example, and all like many Catholic families, there's a deep-rooted heritage in that. There are certain ways, there's certain culture, certain things embedded in that, and that's kind of the takeaway. If you come from a different type of religion or a different type of background, those kind of things are going to be important to you and that kind of thing. And so this could be kind of the hang-up, or this could also be sort of like the thing that's weighing in your mind, maybe. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't really want religion, or I don't want maybe Joshua comes from a different background than you, Vanessa, and so maybe, you're trying to, in your mind, think to yourself, well, how am I going to be able to make this thing work? I mean, we come from two different kind of paths. Or it could be in the opposite vein. It could be that maybe you guys are of the same background, maybe both are of the same religion or same kind of thing, and so you're thinking in your mind like, well, it's like everything is lined up. What's really the thing going on here? And now we get to our outcome, and the outcome, of course, is directly related to the question at hand, and that is the when question. When will Joshua and you be in a relationship? And this is the card that we have. And let's look at the card. Okay, so this card is the Fool. Okay, now the Fool is about youthfulness. It's about vitality. It's about, well, let's just look at it for a moment. You see the Fool. The Fool is actually just getting ready to jump right off the cliff, kind of not even paying attention. Maybe that little dog there is there to save him or bark to let him know that, hey, there's a cliff there. If you keep going, you're going to fall off that cliff. But the thing about the Fool is, and I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. A lot of people make fun of me for that, but a lot of other readers make fun of me for that. But the Fool itself it represents opportunity. It represents being able to take action and stuff without really having to worry about the consequences of your behavior. And for young people especially, like if you're a young person and you're looking at a relationship, or you're looking at doing something or jumping into something, you're not really afraid. I mean, the Fool is not really afraid to do things. It's willing to take action. It's willing to make sacrifices. It's willing to take the journey, so to speak. And so on the journey of life, the Fool is really that person that is it is that kind of vitality. It has like an energy to it. That's a really good energy. And even in the background, we see the sun, we see the sunshine. So that's positive. Positive always means more like, it gives more almost like a yes response versus a negative response. So now we can go back and look at, put these cards down for just a moment. We can go back and we can look at the Cups card. This is the walking away of relationships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups, and we have the Fool here. I want you just to look for just a moment, because I think it's a little pretty self-explanatory, but I want you to just kind of see this for yourself. And let me actually turn them this way for you. So we have the Cups there walking away from relationships, and then we have the Fool. The Fool is getting ready to go on a journey or getting ready to start something, without regard to much else. If we look at this in relationship to the rest of the cards, well, in the past we had a lot of mysterious, not really knowing what's going on, kind of things up in the air sort of things. Very psychic card, just kind of going intuitively with, whatever sort of happens. And then the current situation is that we're just kind of like plagued, or we got a lot on our mind. But mostly it's about the actions. Like we just have a lot going on. It's not so much the mind and the thinking, it's more about we're just really busy. And right now it looks like you're just kind of busy. And then things are going to calm down in about 2 to 3 months from now. You're going to be in control of the situation. Pretty much dictates, what you want to do with things. That's kind of where you're at right now, actually. Like in terms of the mindset and the thinking. We have the Hierophant is about the traditional things, that's coming up in your reading. And then we have the Fool and the relationships. So what is this telling me? If I hadn't seen this Fool, I would have said 2 to 3 months out, somewhere in that ballpark. But because I see this Fool cardinal, I would tell you that for you to be in a relationship with Joshua, it's going to mean turning your back on some of the other people or relationships that you have in your life. Now, these could be friends. This could be people that are holding you back from being with Joshua. And that is going to be the answer or the solution to you and him being in a relationship within 2 to 3 months from now. The Fool is about, taking action, and it looks like this is what the outcome is going to be, is that you're taking action. And so I'm going to assume that in your mind, you're willing to walk away from some of the traditional things or some of the things in the past that have been presented to you so that you can go in a different direction, a new direction, and start seeing things. And yeah, that's going to mean getting rid of some people or some things that are no longer working for you, some relationships, people in your life that are no longer working for you, and it's going to do that. So my thing would be, now that we see the Fool, I would say probably within the next month or so, you and Joshua will be together. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting from it. It's not going to be a long way out. It could be days, in fact. So I hope this reading helps you. And I hope I hope that we got to the bottom of your question, which I think is pretty easy to, pretty self-explanatory there with what your readings were. But more than anything, I hope that you're getting kind of an idea, as sort of a tarot coach here to kind of help you. I would say, be careful, like with, just jumping into new things. Definitely you want to kind of weigh what's going on and stuff. You got to follow your heart, and the Fool follows the heart. Just kind of goes off willy-nilly into the unknown and not really caring. So this is one of the things that we see a lot of times with young people. They're willing to take a chance on something, and they've got a lot of time in their life to recoup losses. So they may go invest, their life savings in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin could go belly up tomorrow and stuff. But they have enough time. They're willing to do it. Whereas somebody that's in their 50s or 60s, they might think twice about taking their life savings and throwing away or investing it someplace that may be a little risky. So what I'm going to tell you is this, is that if you're in the kind of situation that you can afford a little bit of loss, or it's not going to affect you or bother you too much to walk away from some of the people or things in your life. I'm not saying you can't repair those relationships later on, and that's not what the cards are saying either. It just means that for a period of time, while you're trying to pursue this relationship with Joshua, that you're not necessarily going to have everybody on your side with it. So just you have to kind of weigh that into the whole equation of when you're making your decisions. At the end of the day, though, you are the Queen of Cups here. You're the queen of the relationship. And so you are the one that stays in control. And in about 3 months from now, this King of Wands comes up and all. And this is, you're basically in control of your own actions about 3 months from now. I'm not saying this relationship will be a long relationship or anything, but I am saying that you guys will be together within, I'm going to just go ahead and put it out there and say about a week from now. So, all right, well, thank you so much. And I hope this reading was really great for you. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you any way I can. And again, thanks for your reading.